Hey, wait, you know what? Hold on. This is so hot. I've made a mistake. Hi, I'm Marxelle. I met with a friend maybe like a few weeks ago who is very into social media influencing, in that she wants to be a social media influencer. And it made me remember that I enjoyed editing videos, and I have not done that in about 2 years, and I've not talked in front of a camera and then edited a video like this in 2 years. I did an Instagram story today that I felt was like a good idea to make a video about. And that's kind of just talking about depression and what my relationship with it has been. So I've made a lot of videos about how I'm feeling in the past, but since then, a lot of portions of my life have been, I'm very directionless, I don't know what I want to do, just a lot of the same, like, very millennial existentialism, quarter-life crisis kind of deals. But since then, I have been in a healthy relationship for 2 years. We have lived together for a little over a year. My part-time job became a salaried full-time job. I see my friends regularly. We hang out weekly, and I have great relationships with them. And, just in general, on paper, everything is going pretty well. So the question stands, why am I so unhappy? And I think that's one of the biggest things, is that when I think about my relationship with my depression, it's that I go through long waves of being okay, but I always have this anxiety, this feeling of, but for how long? Because usually long waves of great energy are followed by short to long periods of depression where I don't want to get out of bed. And I'm starting to feel the telltale signs of me heading towards a bad place, and I don't want to go there. I woke up today just feeling terrible, and I woke up and was like, I have responsibilities and I have things that I need to do today, but like my foot hurts because of ankle issues that I've had for the past couple years, and I just don't have the drive to do any of the things that I have to do. And then when I think about them more, I think, oh, but I have a deadline. And then when I start thinking about that more, I get anxious about reaching the deadline. And then I'm like, then I keep pushing it off because I'm anxious about it, but it makes me even more anxious. And that's kind of how my depression spirals into the bad day, turns into a bad 2 days, turns into a bad week, turns into a bad month, before I finally am like, hey, I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I just make myself not do that. How do I go from having a bad day and turning it into I cannot continue to have a bad day for a long period of time? And I think about therapy. And I know therapy is like a thing where there's a certain sense of privilege to it. And I, for one, am lucky to have health care. I have health insurance, which is another thing that I didn't have 2 years ago. But I have health insurance, and I have access and the ability and privilege and the finances to go see a therapist. But there's something that's always blocking me. How do people mukbang? Because I can't hold this because it's so hot, because it's soup. I mean, it's ramen, but you know what I mean. My issue with therapists is twofold. I have not had a therapist or a counselor that I've liked in probably about 4 years. It was my college counselor, who was like a cognitive behavior specialist, and she was super blunt. She didn't let me bullshit her, kind of. It was like one of those, we would have conversations, and when I would start to feel badly, she would really push and try and figure out what was the cause of making me feel badly. And that was 2014, where I was having a really bad year, and I didn't think I was going to make it to 2015. And then I dropped out of college, and I quit my job, and I stopped seeing her. And then I made it out of 2014, not knowing really what to do, but thinking I should probably do something different or better. I started prioritizing me. I started thinking, I don't want to be like this. But part of that process didn't really involve getting a therapist, because then the next time that I did get a therapist, I had a really bad experience in that she was kind of a dick. I went to my first session with her, and when we were getting to know each other and she was kind of asking me a bunch of questions like, when did you feel you first started having depression? Just like basic getting to know you questions. One of the questions she asked me was, have you ever had an eating disorder? Which I've never had, but she didn't ask me, have you ever had an eating disorder? She asked me, have you ever had one of those disgusting things like an eating disorder? So I went to her for a couple more sessions, and I never really felt comfortable with her for obvious reasons. Since then, I've not found a therapist, and I think part of it is because I keep thinking I'll be fine after a while, because I go through these waves of really low lows and really high highs. But then part of it is because one instance was bad. And it makes me nervous that I'm going to invest time and money into another experience that might or might not be similar. Which I think is the hurdle that I've been trying to get over of. I think that it's something that's worth pursuing, because when I think about my mental health and when I think about the advice that I give other people in seeking professional help for their depression or their anxiety, I think about how inauthentic that makes me feel about my own experience with my mental health. I tell people that I prioritize myself and that I really nurture the idea of self-care. It's partially true, but I'm like one of those like Tumblr, Pinterest self-care people who's like, go get a massage or go stay in a hotel. I do financially reckless things that I pretend are self-care, when in reality, they're just kind of getaways from the problem. I guess the purpose of this is to kind of just hold myself accountable to being better and being the best version of myself. Because when I talk about that that's what I want for other people, I really feel like it comes off inauthentic, because that's not what I'm pursuing for myself. And my relationship with my depression and the internet and everything is that when I put things into the ether, into the internet, and talk about them, I hold myself accountable, because I can't help but feel like I will let myself down if I don't. And I know that sounds silly, and I know that it creates this idea that millennials or people within my generation kind of need likes or views to kind of validate the things that they're doing. But I think for me, it's mostly just that I can write in as many journals that I want to be better. I can tell people in person that I want to be better and that I'm going to go get a therapist. I can tell my Instagram story that I'm going to go find a therapist. But if I don't put it out there, if I don't tell as many people as possible, I feel like I just won't do it. That's kind of always been my relationship with the internet and kind of putting things out there. I've found that every time I've kind of held myself accountable, I will kind of try and see it through. And in this moment, it's about finding a therapist. I think, hopefully, 2019 is the year of self-improvement and self-help. But we're going to start in December of 2018 because, I can't keep putting it off, because that's what I do. Did any of that make sense? Am I? I mean, I know I'm crazy because I'm just like sitting here talking to my camera. I don't know, when I edit this later, maybe I'll think, this was not a good idea. If you watched this fake mukbang, I appreciate it and I thank you. If you're on your own journey for self-help and preserving your mental health and self-care, I wish you the best of luck. Know that I'm right there with you on my own journey, and if you need support and encouragement, this video is that. So good luck to you out there. Good luck to me. And I don't know. I gotta go. Okay. Bye.